Living with the fishermen quite intimately for some months, I distinctly got the impression that it is not money alone which drives them into such a wholehearted involvement in the work. The challenge and beauty of the open sea, the risk and fun of tracking the shoal of fish, setting up the net and hauling up in eager expectation, all this together have a charm for them.
Dr. Bikas Ray Chaudhary, an anthropologist with the Anthropological Survey of India, spent the entire season of 1967-68 with a very unique group of fisherfolk at Jambudweep, a small island at the edge of the Sundarban Biosphere Reserve in West Bengal. His observations are recorded in the book Moon and Net. These fishermen from the Jalia Kaibartas community have their roots in East Pakistan. After partition, they were resettled in different parts of eastern India. Kumadhari Das is one of the oldest living persons from this community.
আমার জন্মস্থান আমরা জাল বানাইতাম জাল বসাইতাম গঙ্গায় আমাদের চট্টগ্রামে গঙ্গা আছে তো এই গঙ্গা তো তাই সেখান থেকে এসে এখানে বাস্তুহারা হয়ে সেরে আমরা বিহারে গিয়ে রিফিউজি জল্লাল নিয়ে আসছিল আমাদের পুনর্বাসন হয়েছে মতিহারি সেখানে চাষবাস করতে করতে কোনো এক মেয়ে ছেলে বলছে বাবা এখানে গঙ্গা আছে তুমি তো বিনজালাগুলো ছেলে তুমি আসো মাছ ধরো
Fishermen by birth, they were soon drawn to the sea. During the mid-50s, they first established their fishing camps in Jambudweep, a reflection of their deep understanding of the sea.
জম্বুদ্বীপ ফাঁকা জায়গা ছিল মাছ শুকাবার জায়গা ছিল ভালো জল পাওয়া যেত খাল ছিল সেই জন্য আমরা সেখানে গিয়ে মাছ শুকাতাম
Jambudweep is located at the southwestern edge of the Sundarban Delta in the 24 Parganas district of West Bengal. Its natural topography offered several advantages to the fishermen. The presence of mangroves and mixed plantations provided protection from cyclones and made fuel wood available. It was closer to the fishing ground and had a creek that enabled the fishermen to take the fishing boats right next to the fishing camp, making it possible for them to dry their catch immediately on returning from the sea.
Linearly arranged হচ্ছে ক্যাম্পগুলো ফিশিং ক্যাম্প ক্রিকের দুটো সাইড দিয়ে both sides of the creek. হ্যাঁ both sides of the creek.
Another advantage was the open grassy areas of Jambudweep on which they could dry their catch.
নিচের এতে তোমার ওই বড় বড় ঘাস ছিল খুব ওই ঘাসগুলো কেটে কেটে ওরা ওই জাল তার উপরে জাল দিয়ে ওই মাছ ড্রাই করার হতো
Since their natal villages were further away, the men would move to Jambudweep for 4 months during the fishing season, leaving their families behind. Over the years, this system got established, giving rise to a very distinctive fishing community, transient in nature and comprising only of men.
What makes this practice probably very interesting is its antiquity and the fact that they haven't changed their nets and they haven't shifted to more a very very mechanized form of fishing, that they sustainably harvest fish.
Every October, nearly 10,000 fish workers from in and around Kakdweep set out in their boats or butbutis. Their journey to Jambudweep covers a distance of 28 miles, which in good weather takes about 4 hours. The fish camps are makeshift. Different areas are demarcated. Living quarters, cooking and storage areas are usually together. Each camp has a shrine dedicated to Ma Ganga. Next to it is a miniature shrine for Badr Sahib, a Muslim fakir. The structures are made of hogla, which is a grass found in Kakdweep. Bamboo is also used. The rest of the area is for drying beds and drying racks. The fisher folk have a deep sense of reverence, and before starting each task, they offer their prayers to the deities. Early in the season, the fishing boats set out into the sea to cast their nets. Their traditional skills and thorough knowledge of the sea come handy in finding the perfect location for the fishing ground. The bamboo cannot be pitched on the rise of the seabed, as the soil there is sandier and cannot hold the pole. The dip parts of the seabed, known locally as khari, are good to hold the nets as they have sticky clay soil or aital mati. Once pitched, these traditional bag nets are left undisturbed for good catch to come streaming in. These funnel-shaped bag nets or bindi jal are characteristic to this fishing community and are often referred to as a person, with a body part attributed to each element, like the eyes, the hands and the mouth. The size of the mesh decreases all the way from the mouth to the tip in order to balance the flow of water through the net. The tip is made of very fine mesh and is tied with a rope. This is where the fish is finally trapped. The fishing crew stays on in the sea for the rest of the fishing season, constantly monitoring the nets, waiting hours for the tide to change. When the flow of the current shifts from high tide to low, or from low to high, a point of equilibrium throws the net to a sleeping position, a signal to haul in the catch. In a 24-hour cycle, there could be as many as 3 to 4 hauls.
যে জোয়ারের সময় জালটা ডুবে যায় আবার ভাটার সময় ভেসে ওঠে ওই মুহূর্তে আমাদের ওই জালটা দোয়াতে হবে হ্যাঁ আমি সেইটা দেখার জন্য ওদের সঙ্গে নৌকোতে থেকে গেলাম এবং ইম্পর্টেন্ট ব্যাপার হচ্ছে ওদের যে পারসেপশন অ্যাবাউট এই তিথি এবং জোয়ার ভাটা ফ্যান্টাস্টিক
Once the catch is loaded, the carrier boats take over. While the fishing boats stay put in the sea, the carrier boats ferry the catch back to the island. The boats enter the island through the creek. And anchor right next to the camp. This is a big advantage, as the catch can be washed immediately before it's dried. No time is wasted in reaching the drying beds because of the proximity of the carrier fishing boat. The drying area is covered with dry grass, over which a net is spread. This keeps the fish clean and free from sand dust. The fresh catch is spread in single rows and left to dry under the sun. All these factors add to the quality of the fish that is dried at Jambudweep. The drying process reflects a system that is totally environment friendly. The fish are dried directly under the sun. No external preservatives are used and the packing is done in gunny bags. The dry fish industry of Jambudweep is the primary source of income for most of the people working here. An average family here earns anywhere between Rs 10,000 to 20,000 per season. Added to this, depending on the season's profit, the fish workers may also get to take a load of fish back home. When the season ends, the temporary structures are brought down before the fishermen return to their homes. Over the years, fishermen have begun leaving a few implements and structures behind to reduce infrastructure cost every season. Today, however, after almost 50 years of sustainable fishing, their lives have been brought to a standstill. On May 3, 2002, the Ministry of Environment and Forests issued a directive to evict all illegal encroachments on forest land in various states and union territories before the 30th of September 2002. This directive ignored the circular issued earlier in 1990 by the MOEF itself, offering a framework for the resolution of disputes related to forest land between tribal people and the state. Following the May directive, the State Forest Department stopped issuing passes to the fishermen from 2002, a practice that has been going on since the 1950s.
I don't know why they have issued this order. In the name of encouragement, they want to evict these fishermen from this island. But this is not at all encouragement. This is the transient fishing of this island, and these activities is going on last 57 years. I don't know why they have raised this controversy.
আমরা সরজায় যখন বসি তখন ওই ফরেস্টাররা আসবে, এই নৌকা কয়খানা, নৌকা কত ফুট, কত লম্বা, কত চওড়া মাপ নিবে, মাঝি কে, দাড়ি কজন, এগুলো লিখে নিবে, সবটা মিলিয়ে একটা পাস দিতে হয়।
These are copies of passes issued in the 1970s to as recently as 1999.
এই নামখানাতে যে ফরেস্ট অফিস আছে সেখান থেকে এদের পাস ইস্যু করা হতো, কোথায় 5 টাকা কত, তার মানে দ্য ফরেস্ট ডিপার্টমেন্ট অলসো ওয়্যার অ্যাওয়্যার অফ ইট, দেন হোয়াই ডিডন্ট দে অবজেক্ট টু ইট অ্যাট দ্যাট পয়েন্ট অফ টাইম?
The temporary hutments and implements left behind by the fish workers in Jambudweep were also burnt down by the Forest Department.
Massive godowns are constructed on the island, and these godowns are stored with the mangrove forest cut down for the purpose of using them as fuelwood by the laborers and the people who have settled down there.
বিভিন্ন জায়গার গাছ কাটার জন্য চুরেরা আসতো, আমরা নিজেরা পাহারা দিয়ে ধরেছি, পুলিশকে তুলে দিয়েছি, ফরেস্টারের হাতে তুলে দিয়েছি। এইভাবে আমরা যে 4 মাস থাকি, 4 মাস রক্ষা করলাম, তার আর যে 12 মাস 8 মাস আছে, 8 মাস রক্ষা করার দায়িত্ব তাদের, আমরা তো থাকি না।
Where the forest department really fails is to understand many of the aspirations of these communities. Most of them probably don't want anything more than just a patch of land to dry fish for a few months.
Despite the Chief Minister's go-ahead to the fishermen for the use of Jambudweep last year, the Forest Department blocked the creek with RCC pillars.
We had erected a check post at the mouth of the 2 creeks to prevent any unauthorized entry into the reserve forest waters. It is not a permanent blockade, it was a check post. So we had erected pillars and these pillars are supposed to be closed with the chains, so that if somebody can produce valid permit for a valid reason for entering the reserve forest with their trawlers or boats or whatever it be, we shall allow them to enter.
The narrow gap between the cement pillars made it difficult for the boats to pass through, resulting in the unfortunate loss of lives during a cyclonic storm.
এই 12ই নভেম্বর যে ঝড়টা, ঝড়ের অবস্থা দেখে আমরা যখন ডাঙ্গায় চলে যাই, এখন আমরা খালে ঢুকবো, প্রতি বছর যেমন আমরা খালে ঢুকি, সেই রকম আমরা খালে ঢুকবো। খালে ঢুকতে গিয়ে দেখি ফাইলেন পোতা, আর ওখানে বন দপ্তরের লোকেরা আমাদের বলে এখানে ঢুকতে পারবে না, বারণ করেছে। আমরা ভাবছি ওখানে ঢুকতে না পেরে ওখান থেকে ঘুরে যাওয়ার সময় আমার ট্রলারটা একটু করে বান ফেটে যায়, ওখানে গিয়ে আমার ট্রলারটা ঝড়ে পাল্টিয়ে খায়। পরে এবার খোঁজখবর নিয়ে দেখি আমার দুটো ছেলে নেই আমার, আর আমি যদি জম্মু ঢুকতে পারতাম আমার ছেলে দুটো আমি হারাতাম না।
10 fishermen lost their lives that day. Ratan Das and Anil Das were amongst them. The loss of these men is of deeper consequence back home, as they were the sole breadwinners for their families. These families are poor, and without Jambudweep, it's hard for them to comprehend any kind of future. In December 2002, the Supreme Court delegated a central empowered committee to advise on this issue. Today, the recommendations put forward by this committee threatens the future of the transient fishing community.
5 মাস ধরুন আমরা একটা মাছের কাজ পেতাম, সেইটা আর আমরা পাবো না। বেকার সমস্যা হয়ে যেতে হবে, ঘুরতে হবে, না হলে দেশে কাজকর্ম করতে হবে।
বছরে ধরো আমার 10 টাকা ইনকাম হয়, সে জায়গায় এটা যদি 5 মাসে যদি বন্ধ হয়ে যায় এই কাজটা, তাহলে আমার 10 টাকা থেকে 5 টাকা কমে আসছে।
The CEC report states that Jambudweep is a reserve forest area and is protected under the Forest Conservation Act of 1980 and the Supreme Court Order of 1996. The Forest Conservation Act prohibits the use of forest land by communities who have moved there after 1980.
All the encroachments that we find presently is an encroachment after 1981, 1982-83 onwards. So it can never be considered as an old encroachment.
Their activity is absolutely transient between the months of October and February. And that is why it is not an encroachment. And they have been using this island much before the enactment of the Forest Conservation Act in 1980.
24 বছর আমি কারবার করছি, করে তারপরে আজকে বন্ধ দিয়ে যাই 16 বছর।
The CEC report also points a finger at the fishermen for the large-scale mangrove destruction at Jambudweep.
We do not have any data to show that. If it's due to these people and their fuel wood needs, the number of people that are there, a number of families that would be staying in Jambudweep, that number of people can in 30 years would have finished that entire island off.
Satellite imageries, which is totally based on the science, scientific evidence, shows that the cutting down of the mangrove forest had been taking place, had started as early as 1982, not prior to that one.
Satellite imagery is important, but ground truthing is equally important. What we need to have is a proper authentic study, long term, for one full season to see actually what happens.
Apart from the fact that the island has been used by the fishermen for more than 4 decades, the first-hand account of topography of the island from the 1960s to now presents an interesting picture.
তখন কোস্ট এরিয়া দিয়ে পুরো ওই বিচের মতন ছিল, আর ওই মাঝখানটা মার্শি এরিয়া ছিল, সেই জায়গাটা কিছু জঙ্গল ছিল, তবে খুব বড় জঙ্গল কিছু ছিল না। এই যে একেবারে ডেন্স ফরেস্ট সেরকম কিছু ছিল না।
I personally believe that some part of the island definitely is plantations. It's not pristine mangrove as is being claimed by the department. That I'm not convinced that that's the story. And even another part of the northern part also didn't look to be pristine mangrove. Southern part near the fishing camp definitely is not pristine mangrove. A lot of casuarina plantations. So that's something we need to take into account when instead of saying that they're actually destroying biodiversity and all these things, we should be very, very clear actually what we mean by biodiversity, how they are destroying biodiversity, if they are preserving biodiversity in the sea by not strip netting and using other very, very destructive measures. That's something very important. And rather than saying that they are destroyers of nature, it's a question of actually users of nature.
ফিশারম্যান আদৌ এখানের কোনো গাছ কাটে না, ওরা চায় গাছ থাকলে ফিশারম্যানের সুবিধা, যে নদীর স্রোতটা খুব কম লাগবে এবং জম্বুদ্বীপ ভাঙবে না, আর গাছ না থাকলে তো তাড়াতাড়ি ভেঙে যাবে। সেই জন্য ফিশারম্যানরা চাইতে সেখানে যেন গাছ গাছ থাকলে আমাদের সুবিধা কি, আমাদের খুঁটিগুলো ঠিক থাকবে, না ভাঙলে আমরা এবছর ব্যবসা করতে পারছি, আরও 10 বছর ব্যবসা করার আশা আছে, আর ভেঙে গেলে আমাদের তো আর ব্যবসা করার জায়গা নেই।
The dry fish industry in Jambudweep is the lifeline of over 1 lakh people in the area. It is a source of rich protein food for the poorer masses, especially those living in the remote areas of the northeast. The fish from Jambudweep is sold at markets in Uluberia and Calcutta, and from there it is sent to the northeastern states, generating a revenue of over 10 crores for the state of West Bengal.
The economic upliftment of the fishermen, GDP of my state, and total the dry fish also a protein food, especially for the Northeast Indian people, they are supplying the food and create a huge employment.
The Forest Department and the Central Empowered Committee, in their observations of the island, have failed to consider the loss of livelihood of not just thousands of fish workers depending on dry fish production, but also the loss to ancillary industries.
Dry fish business takes place only for 3 to 4 months, and that too, dry fish has got a very, very limited market in our country. It is not a very, very large activity involving all the local fishermen. Almost no local fisherman gets involved in the fish drying business.
জম্বুদ্বীপ থেকে আমরা মালটা আনি, জম্বুদ্বীপ যদি বন্ধ হয়ে যায় তখন আমাদের এই যে 25-30টা লেবার খাটে বেকার হয়ে যাবে, হয়তো সামথিং কাজ থাকবে আর কি, যেমন ছোট্ট কাজ, হয়তো 5 বস্তা 10 বস্তা পেলাম, হইতে কোনো কারো আমারও পেট ভরবো না, লেবারকেও পেট ভরতে পারবো না, ওই জন্য আমরা বেকার হয়ে যাবো। জম্বুদ্বীপটা হলে আমাদের 4 মাসের জন্য প্রচুর মাল আসে, বিভিন্ন রকম, খালি আমি একটা আড়তদার না, ওরকম প্রচুর আড়তদারও বাসে, তারা যদি মাল প্রোডাকশন না দিতে পারে তাহলে আমরা কোথা থেকে কি।
Probably what sets Jambudweep apart is the scale of the fishery. It's something which is going to have a lot of economic ramifications if the fishery is closed.
I would not have believed earlier that if somebody told me just a small island is providing direct or indirect employment and sustenance to a population of anything between 1 to 2 lakhs. This is something that is unbelievable but true.
As a solution, the Central Empowered Committee has recommended the use of Haribanga Island as an alternative fishing site.
Oh, it's a cruel joke. The Haribanga Island is not even a tenth of the Jambudweep, and at high tide level, I don't think you get even 100 meters across, and there are up to around 40 of these large so-called fishing units operating on Jambudweep. Not even one of that unit can be relocated in Haribanga.
Even amongst the forest officials, there seem to be differences vis-a-vis the choice of Haribanga.
Haribanga is the lower long sand, Haribanga Island, that is one area, but that island may not be big enough to accommodate all these transient fishermen. Well, that island is little smaller, but it is full of sand.
This can be a good alternative site. It is outside the reserve forest area. It is having a long sandy area, beaches. It also has sweet water available there. It also has some creeks where they can keep their trawlers and boats, space for parking of the boats.
There is no creek in lower long sand.
For the 100-odd families already living here, life has been rough. Just last year, the cyclones destroyed most of their boats.
এবার পূবের দিক থেকে ঝড় আসছে, হ্যাঁ, এসে এখানটা মানে 3 ঘন্টা ব্যাপী হয়, তারপরে ছেলে মেয়ে দেশে জিমাসমা সবাই বিচ্ছিন্ন, নৌকোগুলো ভেঙে যায় কত, এই ব্যবস্থা।
একটা গাছ নাই, আমরা বারবার ওখানে বলে এসেছি হাড়িভাঙ্গার চরে একটা গাছ নাই, বালি, ওখানে আমরা টিকতে পারবো না, ওখানে আমাদের হবে না, ওখানে আমাদের খাল নাই, ওখানে আবার এই আমাদের এই মেকানিক্স বুট ওখানে ঢুকবে না। ওই যে আমি নিশুত না ছাড়া হ্যাঁ বলি আসিনি, ওখানে তো আমরা ঢুকতে পারবো না, তো মৎস্যজীবীরা কি ওখানে মরতে যাবো? আমাদের গাছের তো দরকার।
The fishermen here fish near the shore. Often, the quality of dry fish produced here is only fit for poultry feed.
জম্বুদ্বীপের মাছের সঙ্গে হাড়িভাঙার মাছ ধরার এইটা তফাৎ, জম্বুদ্বীপে বড় বড় মাছ, বড় বড় নৌকো দিয়ে, বড় বড় বোট দিয়ে যে গভীর সমুদ্রে মাছ ধরে, বড় বড় মাছ ধরে, সেইগুলো মানুষের খাওয়ার মাছ তৈরি হয়। সেখানে মাটি আছে, মাছ শুকনো করার সুব্যবস্থা আছে, করা যায়। এবং আমরা এই হাড়িভাঙাতে যে মাছগুলো শুকনো করি, সেইগুলো 90-95 মাছ মানে পোলট্রি বা ফিশ মিলের জন্য তৈরি করি। আর যেগুলো টুকটাক মাছগুলো হয়তো 5 মাছ আমরা নিজেদের খাবারদের জন্য তৈরি করে নিই।
These are all technical things for them, and this you get to know if you ask questions to the fishermen. Their indigenous wisdom is fantastic.
Alternative sites by and large are disasters because they're not properly planned and they're not looked at very carefully. And even if we in principle agree that alternatives should be provided, people should be given land for land and all these things, I'm not convinced that the forest department really has the ability to actually remove people, relocate them successfully.
Ironically, while on one hand the forest department is working hard to save 200 hectares of land from the Jambudweep fishing community, it has gone ahead and signed an MOU with the Sahara Group to convert 750 hectares of virgin islands of the Sundarbans to a global ecotourism hotspot.
By changing the word tourism to ecotourism is not going to change the distractions.
If by maintaining ecological balance without disturbing the ecosystem, if somebody wants to do some tourism, which should be ecotourism, ecologically sustainable tourism, why should you object to it?
That's why Mahatma Gandhi said we have enough resources in the world for the need of all. But we do not have enough resources for the greed of all. That is precisely the problem.
So when we believe that tourism can go on and there will be no detriment, we are fooling ourselves. And tourism on this scale cannot be without problems. Whatever be our best case scenarios, we should always prepare for worst case scenarios.
In case of high budget tourists, local benefit is not that much. The effluents which will be generated in the flotels and all, there should be in-house arrangement for the sewage treatment plant. Unless those are there, there are some danger to the pollution problem of the creeks.
If Sahara has the right to move around in the Sundarbans, so do all the fishermen. As simple as that.
Sometimes it is needed that a little change in similar type of profession, part of them can become guides, part of them can also shift towards Jharkhali side where lot of tourist influx will be there.
আমাকে আজকে সমুদ্রে গিয়ে মাছ ধরতে বললে আমি তো গিয়ে ধরতে পারবো না। এখন তাহলে এই যে তাদের একটা এত বছরের যে একটা কালচারাল হেরিটেজ ডেভেলপ করেছে এবং এই লোকগুলোকে আজকে যদি এখানে মাছ ধরতেই না দেওয়া হয়, তাহলে একটা হচ্ছে তাদের জীবন জীবিকার যে একটা ছন্দপতন হতে বাধ্য।
The CEC report has gone on to describe Jambudweep as the unofficial gateway to India. Geographically, Jambudweep Island is the farthest island from Bangladesh in the Sundarban Reserve Forest area and one of the islands closest to the Indian coast. The possibilities of illegal incursions here are extremely remote.
That's what is amazing, that probably many decisions in this country are today being taken by a handful of people without really understanding what it really means for many other people. And that's a very worrisome factor.
While these debates rage back and forth, real lives are being affected in Kakdeep, where the families of these fish workers live.
দম্পতি না হলে মরে যাব কি হবে দম্পতির হাতে আমরা যখন জাল্লার ব্যবসা আমরা জম্পু নইলে আমরা বাঁচব আমরা তো জম্পুর সর চাইতে হবে জম্পুর সর নইলে আমার আর মরো গভর্নমেন্টের মধ্যে যদি জম্পুর সর হলাই যদি না দেয় তো এতগুলো লোক কোথায় যাবে বলো
জম্পুটা যদি না খাই আমরা খেতে পারবো চলতে পারবো বাচ্চা কাচ্চা কি করে মানুষ করব
ওই ইনকামটা না হলে কি করে আমরা বাঁচবো জম্বু দিয়ে আমাদের দিতে হবে না দিলে তো আমরা আমাদের কোনো উপায় নেই জম্বু ছাড়া আমাদের কোনো উপায় নেই
Time is running out for the fisher folk, and their survival depends on the hope that they will return to Jambudweep to cast their nets in the sea, as they have done year after year.
At one end, you are supporting heritage, and at the same time, you are not allowing a group of people to follow their heritage. This is simply contradiction.
Fishing community and the forest can definitely cooperate and ensure that both the fishing takes place and the forests are protected. I think the Chief Minister of Bengal himself has once said that the fish and the forest can coexist. So there's no reason why it cannot be done. It can definitely be done.
It is not that the forest has to survive at the cost of the fishermen, or the fishermen has to survive at the cost of the forest, or they have to be evicted to make room for tourism. This approach is not correct. All three can be synchronized and all three can thrive together. Only we have to take a balanced and integrated approach to meet the challenge of the day, today and in future.
Masugai tam doyalo